All right. So we're going to look at the wall and look silly. So we talked about atrophy and foundation training is atrophy of the spinal muscles, which comes from improper functional movement patterns, bending of the spine. It's atrophy of the spine. And then we said atrophy leads to arthritis and then neurological compromise. But something else happens too with the atrophy, because you're still doing the same work. I'm still lifting an object, right? So I'm using something. I'm no longer using my spine like I should be, but I'm still using something. So something's getting restricted. So we're talking about the areas that get restricted in the spine and how you can combat those to help you achieve better posture and doing the exercises to the foundation training. So most people get restricted here, which is the suboccipital muscle. She's not bad here, but sitting computer work tends to tighten those up and they pull the chin kind of forward. So a lot of you see the chin goes forward and they also here. So let me get Mr. Spine here. Mr. Spine's important. So what you can see on Mr. Spine, if we line it up with her, is that we're a transitional area of the spine. So it curves forward in the neck and it meets the skull there. So anytime you got that transition area, that's where it tends to get adhesed, we call them. The ligaments shorten and get tight. So you got another transitional here. So cervical turns into thoracic. That's where we get the hump sometimes with people. They get the hump right here. So that's another area that gets adhesed. Same thing happens here. We got thoracic curve turning into a forward lumbar curve. So we call this the thoracolumbar junction. And that also gets adhesed there too. And then we won't talk about this much, but there's adhesions down here too. In the coccyx area. Lower pelvis. But we're going to focus mainly on thoracolumbar and suboccipital. So, let's follow the problem. The atrophy tends to come. She's actually doing much better than she used to be. She used to be really rounded here, and that's where the atrophy is. And then you can feel the restriction is here, and that's where the diaphragm is. So take a deep breath in. You feel how that a little stuck there. Maybe it's a little crampy. That's what he's talking about in his videos, when he's lengthening. So that tends to be what people are locked up here. So we're going to have you feel her spine once we get her on her stomach here. So you get a readjustment to on her stomach. I'm just going to shift that camera a little bit so we can see. Bring it down there. We got most of Danielle. So we're supposed to have a curve here. Feel a little irritated. All the schoolwork. You want to feel that, Debbie? Okay. So right here, a little irritated, a little inflamed. So that's the atrophy area we're talking about. And then as we come up here, that's the restricted area. Can you feel the difference at all there? Oh, it's kind of gushy here, and then like a brick wall here. So that's locked up. And then this is often where the pain will come. But they work together. There's problems. This is for everyone who's not here, Debbie. Not everyone's as faithful as Debbie's. And then same thing here. It doesn't feel as gushy. The sips is better here. Not too bad there. A little bit up top. And you can feel that little bit of gushiness there. But most of all, she's worse down here. So you have areas that are worse. So I'm going to show her one way she can work on this. And that's in the car. Because cars are the worst. Like Ray Shaw was sitting out there, taught about a hinge from the hips, and you can do that in a marble chair. In your car, you can't do that. Maybe you can in your car. I can't in mine. Well, what you do is your chiropractor, you come here and you loosen this area up. Adjust this perhaps, which is happening. You want to lift your head up a little bit. Lift it down. A little movement there. Lift it up higher. So if you loosen up the tight area, you should be able to stand up straight better. Just not having to fight against that restricted area as well. So it's twofold. There's weakness. The muscles that are weak, they can't work as well as they should be. And you got restricted areas fighting against as well. So that's why you get stuck in these bad postural patterns and this continue to get worse. Weaker gets weaker, tighter restricted gets more restricted. Take a breath in, breathe out. On our neck too, that's also nice. We'll bring you up. And I'll show you my little tricks. Just on your back. When's the last time you got adjusted?
Probably
Too long.
a couple of weeks.
Like these little tiny muscles we call suboccipital muscles for the traps, the shoulder muscles that all get tight from here, jam up the neck, and create too much motion here. That's what we call hypermobility. So it's almost like a chronic sprain. There's too much motion in the joints there. So people that have to crack their neck all the time, it's everything sits across most people constantly popping their neck. Whereas at a Bible study, you just like, yeah, they do it every like minute, you just constantly jamming his neck. Eventually that'll lead to arthritis because that shows that there's instability there. What we do as chiropractors, we don't pop the areas you're popping, we pop the areas that are restricted. That one. And again, we got another transitional area down here. Cervical thoracic area. And the forward curve turns to the rounded curve. That's where it tends to jam up. Okay. So the first one I want to show you is when you're laying. This table's probably not the best, and this piece is falling down. There we go. Now, so we're going to put a roll right here where that one restriction is. Let's have you sit up. So you can use foam roller, probably a little too big, but you can use that. This is small as a foam roll. I'm going to have you lay right on that. Rest your head down. It's a little uncomfortable, right? It feels like it's restricted in that area. And one thing you can do is bring both hands up, kind of put the palms almost a little bit facing down, and kind of reaching up. And when you're here, you're just trying to lengthen, really tighten your stomach. Push that chin in a little bit. Feel that? And then take a deep breath in. So just do some couple breaths here. I like to put my hands together like this, just so I get that extra little squeeze from that area. And then you do some breaths there, and that'll help unlock that area as well. She's off the side of this because that's okay. Got that one? So let's take this whole thing out. You do the same thing with the neck. So this is, you can use something like this, or you can use what's called a cervical wedge. So same thing here. We're going to put that right where your bones are a little restricted. You can use a roll of towel. It's kind of right going on that ligament that's tight. So you're just resting there. Feel like it's a little uncomfortable. Same idea, just resting there for a few minutes. You don't want to stay too long at either. Just take some deep breaths in, and that's going to help loosen some restriction up there. Now what I found is you can actually do this in the car as well. So I'll show you that. You can feel that though, it's a little tight up there. You don't want it too bad up there. I'm sure it feels better after you got adjusted. So we'll bring you up. We don't have a car in this room, so we'll have to use our imaginations. We won't torture you anymore. I'll show you here. We'll pretend this is a car seat. Make sure I'm this over here. So, with Ray shot, I was able to bring him here. So he brought himself up, so his core was tight. But in the car, you just can't do that because you're hitting the ceiling. So you're kind of forced to be in this position. So what you can do is take your wedge, put it right there, and that's actually a prop your head away. A lot of times the headrest pushes you like that. You don't want to be like that either. So if you give yourself some distance with either a wedge or something like this, your head's not being pushed by the headrest, and you're working your core when you're driving. This gets very painful after a while, especially if you're first starting. There's just a lot of restriction here. I'm okay with it because I've gotten stronger with that and go longer. Or you can also put it face the neck here, which is the car rest will be higher, so you'll be able to have it here too, or even at the head. So those two areas you got.
Here tends to jam up. Everyone's a little different, but generally these areas, one of them is restricted on everyone. I see sometimes all of them. But you, Debbie, all of them are. Suboccipital, right here, where the base of the neck is. Here where the diaphragm is. And there's not much to do about the bottom one. But if you hit those three areas and loosen them up, it'll be easier to get adjusted, and it'll be easier to do your exercise. Questions on that? Makes sense? Am I crazy? So yeah, I made this one actually, but there's ones you can buy, or you can just use like a pool noodle or something like that, or even like she said, a rolled up towel. Problem with some of the car ones are that everyone puts them in the wrong spot. So this is, which is weird, this is very specific to that spot there, where it gets very tight and restricted. And that'll help you access your core more with this. You won't be forced to be down in the car like that, because that headrest pushes you forward. And some people take the headrest off, and I don't think that's a good decision, because what if you do get in an accident? We'll have that headrest. And generally in the car, I put it here. I don't really put it on my neck too much. Sometimes if I can't take this anymore, I'm like, oh, and it always feels better. It's much looser. I'll move it up here, spend some time there, or I'll move it kind of right below here. And both of those prop you away from that headrest. Props you up so you're not being rounded all the time. That's the problem. And then you notice your hips work more when you're here. That's because everyone gets really restricted in the hips. So that's the other area that gets restricted. Like I said, you always got to pay the piper. Someone has to pay to do the work. So it's either your core that's working, or it's the joints that are becoming restricted. So if you're restricted in the hips, lower here, and like you were very loose in there, which I'll fix now. So we won't let you get that, but that's the video. Good. If you can't, people don't come to you, you got to bring the message to the people.